Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, you get those at betterwater.com. And we are broadcasting live from the one and only GLOCKSTORE. It's going to be a fun day today. Grateful for these guys for having me out here. We're going to have Lenny McIll on the show. We're going to get some of the GLOCKSTORE's fantastic firearms instructors on the show today. And we're going to have a lot of conversations circling around the Second Amendment. Now, I'm out here today because, unfortunately, I am going to miss the 5th Annual Open House, which is happening on Saturday, May 31st. You shouldn't miss that open house. Mason, you're going to be at that open house, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
It's going to be awesome. Now, Mandis is also missing the open house. Do you know that? Did you
is
that?
he? Slacking off?
Well, he's actually going to be on a Disney cruise. And he's been denying it like crazy, but I don't know. Did you see President Trump sent a message about the Disney cruise?
Yeah, I did. I got it right here. You want me to play that?
Yeah. Turn it up.
I hope Mandis in the morning, I hope he enjoys his Disney cruise. Quite frankly, it's not a cruise I would go on. Too woke for me, obviously. But I hope he enjoys himself.
Yeah. We hope Dan has a great time on the Disney cruise. But I'm going to be at the beach all next week. I'm not going on a Disney cruise like Dan Mandis. So, I feel like I have a better reason to miss the open house than Dan does. But that's just me. So we're live here at the GLOCKSTORE today. We're going to have a fantastic time. And I got to ask you something. Is it bad that I had no idea who won March Madness? Like, I had no idea who the NCAA champions were.
Oh, shoot. I totally forgot that was going on at the moment.
I don't even know when it ended. But President Trump had the NCAA champs at the White House yesterday, and it was actually really cool to see. Now, while I'm not totally in on the sports ball, I am in on the culture war that is in front of us, right? And I see these viral videos of the NCAA champion Florida Gators, and they're doing TikTok dances inside the White House, and it's amazing to see the culture shift in the youth. And I got to shout out Turning Point USA for what they're doing on college campuses, because I think that's a huge part of it. But Trump is in the Oval Office, and he's just goofing off with these guys and joking around. And he looked at the coach of the Florida Gators at one point, and he said, Coach, tell me which ones are great. I only want to deal with the great ones. And it's like he's just winning these kids over again and again and again. Mason, play that clip of Donald Trump talking to their coach for me.
Tell me the great ones. I only want to deal with greatness.
Not this one, not so much, but that one.
I mean, you can hear like the joy and the jubilance from these young kids. I mean, they're all 18 to 20-year-olds, and Trump was just winning them over. The youth is being won over by the conservative party. And while I don't care about the sports ball, I do think that this is an important moment and something to point out and underline, put in bold, italics, all the things, because we were never supposed to have the youth. We were never supposed to have the youth on the conservative side. That was the Democrats' lane. Yet here we are today in 2025, and you got some of the youngest guys, the most popular guys in college athletics, the champions, making TikTok videos in the White House. And then Trump, in true Trump fashion, as he's honoring the team and he's standing at the podium, he starts goofing off and giving grief to the guy that hit the game-winning shots, the Gators guard, Elijah Martin. Listen to this.
With less than 60 seconds left on the clock, Houston led by 1 point. Did you think you were going to win?
I did.
That's what he gets paid for. This guy's good. Houston then fouled Elijah Martin. Okay, where's Elijah? Giving him 2 free throws, which he easily sank. Were you nervous? I always think, here's a guy. He's got to sink. It's not that easy. I can name a couple of very big players that didn't do too well in that circumstance. Were you nervous when you were up? No. That's pretty good. He sank them both, Coach, right? Oh, if you didn't sink him, you wouldn't be up here right now. And nobody would ever call you again.
It's just so cool to watch. I mean, he absolutely has the room. He absolutely has the youth. And he's doing it in a way that only Donald Trump can. Now, that wasn't the only White House visit yesterday. In fact, it was a tale of two visits, right? He's laughing and he's joking around with the youth and the Gators championship team. Are they a rival with Tennessee? I don't know. I don't pay much attention to college sports at all.
I don't either.
But he's winning over the youth, right? And then in the exact same day, he has the South African president in, okay? And the South African president comes, and his name is President Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa. And I don't know if you watched what happened yesterday, but it was akin to what happened with Zelensky. These Oval Office visits have been absolutely lit. But you can tell it went well when you hear the media reaction to it. And the media reacted to the meeting with the South African president with our current word of the day. This was put together by Western Lensman on Twitter. This is how you know we're over the target and Donald Trump executed at a high level yesterday. When you hear the word of the day from every media outlet, the word of the day in regards to the South African president's visit is ambush.
To the dramatic scene in the Oval Office today, the tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Up next, another Oval Office meltdown, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush of South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush today.
Today, Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader.
Zelensky territory, where essentially he was a bit ambushed inside the Oval Office.
Felt like an ambush in there, kind of like the President Zelensky meeting in the Oval Office.
This was an ambush. It was orchestrated.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush.
What started as, to some degree, an ambush.
Well, Katie, I mean, it was an ambush.
Ambush.
Ambushed. Ambush.
An ambush.
Ambushing.
Ambushed inside the Oval Office.
So when you see the media reaction and you know that the word of the day is ambush, you know you're over the target. Now, we've seen this a few times now where the media gets talking points from what we can only assume is a shadowy figure in a dark room, and they hand it down to all their Democrat propagandists and mainstream media, and we see the same word repeated over and over and over again. What was the last word of the day? Was it chaos? Chaos. Everything's chaos with Donald Trump. Now we know that everything is an ambush. It's an ambush. Who's giving the media their talking points? Somebody has to be coordinating this, and I wonder where it's coming from. I don't think we'll ever get the answer to that. But the issue in South Africa is real. You have white South Afrikaners, they are having their farmland stolen, and they are being brutally murdered. Brutally murdered. And one of the things that is apparent to me, and as I sit here live at the Glock store off Air Lane Drive, is the difference in gun rights. See, in South Africa, they have no gun rights. You need a license for every firearm you purchase, and full disclosure, I don't think that they're giving those out to white Afrikaners. So we are blessed in this country. We're blessed to have a place like this in Nashville, the Glock store, where we can exercise our Second Amendment rights. And when you're in a situation that dangerous, like the white South Afrikaners are in South Africa, I'm sure that they would love some Second Amendment rights. They don't have them. So you have a group of individuals that are trying to flee the country because of the danger that they're in. And we accepted what? It was like 60 refugees from South Africa, 6-0. And it has thrown the media into an absolute tizzy because, you know why? Well, these refugees happen to be white. That's why. And it's insane to me. These guys are actually in fear for their life. They're not coming here for economic reasons like so many of the 20 million plus that Joe Biden and his administration let in. They're coming here for asylum. They're coming here for the safety. And that just makes the media irate. So Donald Trump had the South African president in the Oval Office yesterday, Cyril Ramaphosa. And he's in the Oval Office, and he says, we're going to be discussing some of the things that are taking place in South Africa and see what we can do to help. This is Donald Trump with President Cyril Ramaphosa in the Oval Office yesterday.
So we'll be discussing many things, and some of the things you've been reading about in the papers and the media. And I would say that, look, the president is a truly respected man in many, many circles, and in some circles he's considered a little controversial. But we're going to be discussing some of the things that are taking place in South Africa and see if we can help. And we want to help. And we've had a long relationship with South Africa. I have, because indirectly I have so many friends that live there. I have a lot of friends. I mean, these are famous guys, but I have a lot of friends that live there that are tremendous people. And we'll be discussing that. We'll have a nice conversation. And I really appreciate that you guys came along. It really helps us in our thought process. But it is a great honor to have you, and I appreciate you called. He called. I don't know where he got my number, but I picked up. He said, I want to come over and see you. And that was my honor, and thank you very much for being here.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, I mean, it starts off pretty nice. It starts off pretty cordial. And listen, Donald Trump definitely went in there with a plan. I wouldn't necessarily call it an ambush. I think he reacted to the response when the crimes against white South Africaners were brought up. And the president of South Africa denied and then deflected all of it. But Trump knows what he's doing. And you have to understand, South Africa is the weakest link of BRICS nations. And he knew what he was doing when he had the South African president there. But it was the media who really wanted to highlight all of this. So there's a reporter from NBC, and she gets up there and says, he gets up there and says, why is it appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here? And it's important to note, this is really what the media is so upset about. Not that we're letting in refugees or asylum seekers, but that we're letting in white refugees and asylum seekers. So this NBC reporter gets up and asks the question that the media is chomping at the bit to ask. Listen to this.
Can you explain to Americans why it's appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here when other refugees like Afghans, Venezuelans, Haitians have all had their protected status revoked?
Well, this is a group, NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements.
Well, they're not questions, they're statements, he says. They're not questions. They're statements. NBC knew exactly what they were doing. They went there to push a narrative. They went there to scream that Donald Trump is racist for letting in 60 white people from South Africa who were in fear of losing their lives. So this is NBC. Trump, obviously, not impressed with the question, but he keeps going. Listen to this.
Pointed away. They're not questions, they're statements. We've had tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too, from people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. When you say we don't take others, all you have to do is take a look at the southern border. We let 21 million people come through our border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. They came from all over the world. In many cases, they're criminals. They come from prisons. They come from mental institutions. They come from street gangs. They're drug dealers. So don't say that we didn't take them. We take them. We're trying to get them out as fast as we can. And we're doing record business on that. And we just won a big case where we're allowed to send back hundreds of criminals to Venezuela. Just won that today in the Supreme Court. I'm happy to hear.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that as well. But then things got wild because Trump was asked about the white genocide in South Africa. And then the president of South Africa interjected, said, let me answer that question, denied the white genocide in South Africa. And Trump said, oh, really? Oh, really? And he rolled in a TV to the Oval Office. So let's watch this. Yeah, Trump brought receipts. He brought videos and he brought news articles. The reaction from the South African president was one that you need to hear. We'll bring it to you when we get back. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and we are broadcasting live from the one and only Glock store. We want to see you out here today. We're off Airlane Drive, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Come see us. Come say hi. And if you got some time on your lunch break, let's shoot a full auto together. We can have some fun here. Live at the Glock store. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. Now, when it comes to home repairs, especially the waterproofing, it's so easy to ignore the warning signs. I mean, you get a little water in the basement, you get a little water in the crawl space after it rains, maybe some damp walls, and you hope that it'll go away. And sure, it might dry up in the crawl space or in the basement, but when the rain comes back, and it always seems to do that this time of year, so is your problem. And those small problems aren't going to stay small. They never do. The good news, though, is that United Structural Systems want to give you some peace of mind with your waterproofing issues. And they've done it for over 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee and Kentucky. When they show up, they're not sending a sales guy who's all about pressure. They're sending an expert. They're not going to send a guy who's worried about a quota. They're sending a guy who's worried about your waterproofing. So whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, call USS. They stand behind their work with warranties you can trust, locally owned, 30 years in the game, and these guys are here for the long haul. So if you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS today, 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems, keeping homes dry and stable online, USSTN.com.
The Supreme Court has just made its decision on allowing publicly funded religious schools. And the National Weather Service is back on the ground in Middle Tennessee today. They're on tornado duty once again. We've got those stories coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. She's one of the best. Looking forward to the headlines coming up at 9:30. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. And the show today is live from the one and only world-famous GLOCKSTORE. We're down here right off Elm Hill Pike. You are welcome to come say hello. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere is what they say. That is especially ringing true today. If you want to come through for your lunch break, I mean, what's better than firing some full auto on your lunch break? I'll do it with you. We'll have a great time. Yesterday, Donald Trump had president of South Africa in the Oval Office, and I'm watching the text line, and am I saying it wrong? Cyril Ramaphosa or Ramaphosa? Cyril Ramaphosa? It says PH. That makes the F sound. So I think it's Cyril Ramaphosa.
I think it's Fosa too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People are saying Ken Weaver said Posa.
Yeah, apparently Ken had a big thing about this.
That's what I'm hearing.
It's Ramaphosa.
Interesting. Well, Ken's got you beat.
First of all,
right.
Ken's not here yet, and I'll tell him. I'll be happy to tell him he's wrong later in the show.
Tell him to his face through a video camera. Yeah.
Exactly. We'll have a discussion with Ken Weaver on the way. So Trump was asked about the white genocide in South Africa, and the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, he interjected and said, whoa, let me answer this one, and then he denied the white genocide in South Africa. Listen to this.
What would it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the president. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
So he says, Mr. Trump, let me answer this one. And he essentially does the white people, well, I have a black friend with the three white South Africaners that he has with him. And he says, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. And President Trump is sitting there, he's nodding. And he says, okay, well, how about we all look at the screen, rolls in a TV and starts playing a movie. What happened after that is insanity, and we'll bring it to you after the news with Joan Jones right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 9:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. They've cleared out that crash on 65 northbound lanes in Franklin this morning, just past I-840. But in Whites Creek on 24 eastbound side, you've got a crash blocking the right shoulder just past the Clay Lick Road overpass. We have breaking news just moments ago. The Supreme Court making its decision known in a 4-4 ruling that Oklahoma cannot create the nation's first religious charter school funded directly with taxpayer dollars. That court's decision was split because Justice Amy Coney Barrett had recused herself. The National Weather Service confirming that 3 tornadoes touched down in the Nashville area on Tuesday, 2 of them in Clarksville, 1 in Cumberland County. No confirmed tornado so far in the Blackman area of Murfreesboro. But this woman tells Channel 4 she was trapped in her car during the storm.
My foot was laying down on the horn. I was laying down in the floorboard, and I was screaming. I didn't know what to do. My car was going up and down, sideways, everything hitting it. I didn't know what was going on.
Today, 2 National Weather Service teams are going out to check tornado claims in Marshall, Bedford, and Rutherford counties. The other team will head to Coffee and Warren counties. A woman has been shot and wounded on the grounds of the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia this morning. That woman allegedly attempted to breach the main security gate before being stopped by security. Fewer Americans filed for jobless benefits last week.
The consensus among analysts was for 2,000 more claims for jobless benefits to have been filed in the week leading up to May 17th. The actual number has come in 2,000 below the figure of 2 weeks ago. All told, 227,000 initial filings were made, with just over 1.9 million jobless Americans overall receiving benefits.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. Stocks are mixed right now after the passage of the big, beautiful bill in the House of Representatives. The Dow Jones Industrial's down 99 points. The Nasdaq is plus 96. We've got the S&P down 4 points. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
938, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, and we are broadcasting live today from the one and only GLOCKSTORE. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. We want to see you out here today. If you're free and you're around the area, come say hello. This is one of my favorite places to be. Currently off camera to my right, there's a couple guys loading up magazines, and behind me during the show, you may hear some pops. That's because we are directly on the other side of a wall of the private shooting rooms. Yeah, they have private shooting rooms here, not indoor lanes, and that's a big difference. Trust me. The training here is top notch, and if you're not ready, you haven't been training, you don't have a firearm, this is a great place to start. We'll talk about that more in the show. But as I was watching and doing my show prep last night, I was thinking about South Africa a lot. And just how blessed we are to have the gun rights that we do in this country, because they don't have the same rights in South Africa. And it's leading to a lot of turmoil, especially for white South Africans, the Afrikaners. They're having their land stolen, their farms taken away. They're being brutally murdered. And this has been going on for a very long time. We've been talking about this and hearing about this since before the pandemic, really, in all honesty. This has been a big talking point. And yesterday, the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, or Ramaphosa, depending on who you ask, he was in the Oval Office. And this meeting, it went the way of the meeting with Zelensky. The media classified it as an ambush. For me, I look at it more as Donald Trump was prepared. And he was prepared for the denial and the deflection from the president of South Africa when he was confronted with the issue of what's happening to the white farmers in South Africa. Now, when a reporter asked, what's going on, Donald Trump was about to say something, and the president of South Africa, he interjected, and he denied, and he deflected white genocide in South Africa. So Donald Trump's sitting there, and he's nodding. He's, oh. And he says, hey, why don't we all turn our attention to that screen, the TV that's been rolled in, and let's watch this together. And at this point, Donald Trump starts playing it was about a 5-minute movie, and it was chaotic. The body language on the South African president was uncomfortable. He had a hard time watching this video. He looked away from the screen several times. But listen to how this plays out inside the Oval Office.
That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure, and we thousands. Have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do.
So at this point, Donald Trump lowers the lights in the Oval Office and says, would everybody please direct their attention to the screen? And what he played was a lot of the same clips that we've played here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The examples of politicians saying, kill the farmer, kill the Boer, pop. We're seeing news stories and the crosses that line the streets representing burial sites and crosses marking murdered white farmers. And Donald Trump made him sit there and watch this entire thing. Now, the video is too long. We played a lot of these clips before, but if you want to see the full version of the video that was played in the White House for the South African president, it's available on my Twitter account, @ChrisHandOnAir. Hit the follow button while you're there. But the White House tweeted the whole thing out. I retweeted it. It's a lot of the same clips that we've played. It's a lot of the things that we've highlighted. But in the middle of the video, it's like about 4 minutes after Trump is presenting video receipts for the South African president, the scene pulls up in the video where you've probably seen this, where they're looking over the highway and there's thousands of white crosses, and those mark the murdered white South African farmers. And Donald Trump points this out to the South African president while the video is playing.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here.
burial sites, over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
Anything like it, he says. Both sides of the road lined with crosses. Again, if you want to see that full video that Donald Trump brought with him to the Oval Office to play for the South African president, it's on my Twitter account, @ChrisHandOnAir. Now, after this 5-minute video plays, this is just another one of those things where you don't hate the media enough. They open it up to the floor for questions, right? The first question that Donald Trump receives is from NBC about the Qatari jet. They just played a 5-minute video for the South African president where they highlight the death and destruction that is literally the reality for so many white South African farmers. That just, it hangs in the air, that sense of danger, that sense of fear. And the first question that NBC asks is about the Qatari jet. And Donald Trump is not impressed with NBC's Peter Alexander for asking a question about the Qatari jet, given the video they just played in the Oval Office. And again, this is just another example of you don't hate the media enough. Listen to this.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, you to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead.
You are a disgrace. No more questions from you. He's right, though. He nails it. That's NBC trying to change the subject. That's NBC trying to control the narrative. That's the fake stream media covering for what's happening in South Africa. You don't hate the media enough. You don't. Again,
and you know that reporter, who did you say, Peter Alexander?
Yep.
So he devised his list of questions along with his boss, so along with the producer or whomever.
Yep.
So that wasn't totally him. I mean, it was a newsroom decision. Here's the questions you will ask. Get him on that plane first.
But how do you not pivot after a 5-minute video highlighting what's happening to white African farmers in South Africa?
Well, they don't believe it's true. They don't believe it.
But the thing that's crazy is he just showed a 5-minute video with receipts proving exactly what he's talking about. And again, all day today, the media is going to say, oh, Donald Trump pushing debunked claims. And they did that.
Unsubstantiated.
Yeah.
I've heard that word a couple of times. Yeah.
They did that. They were highlighting it yesterday. Yep. Oh, it's unsubstantiated. These are debunked claims. It's like he showed the video. He brought the receipts. We've highlighted these clips numerous times. Again, if you want to see the whole video, it's on my Twitter account, @ChrisHandOnAir. But after he sent, after he dealt with the NBC reporter who wanted to change the subject, and after making the president of South Africa sit through a 5-minute video highlighting what's happening to the white South Africans, then Trump brings out news articles. He printed out a stack of news articles. Now, the media is going to classify this as an ambush. I classify this as Donald Trump being prepared. He knew that the president of South Africa was going to deny and deflect, and he wasn't going to let him off the hook. So after making him sit through the 5-minute video, after dealing with fake news NBC, then Trump starts bringing out the news articles. And he has a stack of recent news articles of white South Africans being attacked and being murdered. Listen to this.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know.
But you know
To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couples say that they were attacked violently. And,
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter.
I love that he goes back to the NBC reporter and doesn't let him off the hook. You are such a bad reporter. But he had a stack of articles, and you can hear him thumbing through them. Murder, death, attacked. And again, the media will tell you this is debunked. The media will tell you this is fake news. The same media who told you Biden was sharp as a tack. So who are you going to believe in this situation? I mean, I think I know who this audience is going to believe, and I think this audience is smart enough to follow the paper trail of receipts and come to your own conclusions on what's happening in South Africa. But Donald Trump didn't let up. Listen to this.
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now, we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous, look, this is a story recent. Yeah. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are and you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march, they had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Well, let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Again, as Donald Trump brings the receipts, and I'm watching this last night, I just keep thinking to myself how blessed we are to have Second Amendment rights in this country. And I think to myself, how much would a white South African farmer appreciate the Second Amendment rights that we have in this country, given the situation that's going on in South Africa. So we're live today from the Glock store. We got a lot more coverage on this Oval Office ambush, as the media wants to paint it, as we broadcast live from the Glock store. You're welcome to come down here, see us, say hello, fire some guns on your lunch break. It's a great place to be down at the Glock store. But when we get back, there was a reporter who said, do you denounce what we just saw in that video? Do you denounce the language being used by elected officials in South Africa saying, kill the farmer, kill the boer, bow? Do you denounce that? The South African president responds to that question when we return. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the one and only Glock store. We are actually broadcasting live here today from the one and only Glock store. This is one of my favorite places to be. It feels like a second home. You're going to feel at home here, too. And if you've never been to the Glock store, well, today's a great day to stop by and say hello. And if you can't make it today, how about Saturday, May 31st? That's when the 5th annual open house is happening here at the Glock store. They do it every year for the open house. They throw open the doors, roll out the red carpet for all in Nashville, raffles, deals, full auto fun. This party's going to be a blast with raffles nonstop all day long. We're talking custom Glock handgun giveaways, premium gear, you name it. And even if you don't win a raffle, the deals will still make you a winner because they're wild. Do you need ammo? Of course you do. Well, you need to check out the Burrow Bullets blowout happening at the open house. 1,000-round tac packs of 9mm and .223 packed in custom ammo boxes, and you're not going to believe the prices. So mark it down. Saturday, May 31st, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. The 5th annual open house at the one and only Glock Store. Saturday, May 31st. Be there.
So what's next for President Trump's tax and spend bill after passage in the House early this morning? And the manifesto that was left behind by the man who shot and killed 2 Israeli embassy staffers. Those stories at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming is producing. We are live from the one and only Glock Store. minutes from the airport. We're at the Drive From Anywhere. We're going to be broadcasting here until about noon, hanging out. If you're looking for something to do today, come shoot some guns with us, man. We're gonna have some fun here. Did you see Brian on the YouTube chat?
No.
You talking about on the YouTube chat?
Yeah, he said he's spending his day listening to us and feeding his emus.
And longhorns. What?
Anecdotally speaking, this is the number one show for emu farmers. I just want to let everybody know that.
I'm here for it.
And I'd like to think that the farmers in South Africa would enjoy the show as well. We're covering what happened inside the Oval Office when South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, I believe is how you pronounce it now. Everybody's been yelling at me about the pronunciation. I'm always great with pronunciation, so I don't know what anybody means. But it was chaos inside the Oval Office. We hadn't had a sit-down like that since Zelensky came to town. People are classifying it as an ambush, and when I say people, I mean swamp creatures and the mainstream media. I don't think it was an ambush. I think Donald Trump was prepared. He brought receipts with him. He brought a 4 to 5 minute video highlighting everything that we've highlighted when it comes to South Africa. Elected officials calling for the death of white farmers. Elected officials calling for the stealing of the land. And he played it for the South African president after he denied what was going on. It's hard to deny when you have the receipts. And he didn't just bring the 4 to 5 minute video, which you can see on my Twitter account, @ChrisHandOnAir. He brought paper receipts as well. And yet still, after all that, the South African president was trying to deny it. A reporter asked him if he denounced what was said and shown in that video. And he said, yeah, we're opposed to that. But he also said, but it's not really happening. And Donald Trump would not let it go. I'm going to bring you that exchange when we get back. There's a lot to cover. It was definitely fun to watch. Donald Trump executing boss moves inside the Oval Office in a way that only DJT can. We'll bring you the highlights on the way. Plus, we'll be talking to the owner of the one and only Glock store, Lenny McIll, coming up at 10:35. And I want to get some of the firearms instructors on the air, too. I think it's a good conversation to have, especially when you see what's happening in South Africa. No Second Amendment rights, no real firearm rights in that country. And I can guarantee you those white farmers would absolutely love the rights that we have in this country, given the situation that they're in. A lot to talk about. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. House Republicans narrowly passing President Trump's big, beautiful bill early this morning after contentious debate on the floor during the overnight hours. The multi-trillion-dollar tax cut and spending measure is now headed to the Senate, where Republicans have vowed to change it.
They're able to use a specific method in legislative sort of mechanics here where they can pass it by a simple majority. That means the president will exert his pressure again. And he has said if it doesn't pass, that would be an extreme betrayal.
NBC's Kelly O'Donnell. GOP leaders are hoping to send it to President Trump's desk for his signature by July 4th. Plans for the nation's first religious charter school will not move forward after the Supreme Court has deadlocked in a 4-4 vote. Justice Amy Coney Barrett had recused herself from this one, so one of the other conservative justices sided with the liberals on this court. The tie means the last appeals court decision will stand. Now, this won't likely be the end of the issue. It is likely that the court will be asked to weigh in on this issue in future cases. A woman who was hit by a car while riding her bike in Antioch around 10:30 last night has now died of her injuries. The driver of the car that struck her did not stop.
Police believe the suspect was driving a red SUV. Now, that description is based on the debris left at the scene. And there is a bike lane there. Right now, we are working to learn from police if the woman was in the bike lane when she was hit by that car.
Metro Nashville police are hoping someone can help identify the driver of that red SUV. Well, don't be afraid to call police. That is the message from Laverne's police chief, Christopher Mose.
There are communities in Laverne that are losing trust
in law enforcement in this country right now, and it's going to make our job that much more difficult.
He made those comments during a town hall last night in which he also said his officers use techniques to avoid asking about immigration status.
If that does not come up during the course of the investigation, all right, then we actually have no knowledge of somebody's immigration status, and then we're not bound by law.
Mo says that Laverne Police and Tennessee Highway Patrol will be conducting joint traffic stops, but they will not include ICE. From now on, you'll need more than a penny for your thoughts. The Treasury Department announcing this morning no new pennies will be added to the circulation by early next year. Doing so saves about make that $56 million because each penny costs 4 cents to make. The Treasury says the savings will grow once it stops using some of the production facilities, too. Americans will still be able to use those pennies, though, in cash transactions. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system or a water softener, get it from the guys that are local. Get it from betterwater.com. We love them. Hey, the show is actually coming to you live today from the one and only GLOCKSTORE, minutes from the airport. We're at the drive from anywhere. Can you hear the popping in the background?
Dude, yeah.
I'm directly on the other side of the wall from the indoor shooting ranges. So the ambiance is really cool. We're having a lot of fun here. The private shooting rooms are so unique. They don't have lane ranges where you're standing next to some stranger here at the GLOCKSTORE. They have private shooting rooms with personal instructors. And we're actually going to sit down and talk to one of the personal instructors now because this is a great place. Grab those headphones right there. Grab a seat, man. This is one of those places where even if you're a beginner, even if you've never shot a firearm, you can come and you can learn what you need to do. So we're sitting down with one of those firearm instructors right now. I'm sorry, sir. What is your name?
My name is Brennan Hovey.
And you got an extensive background. You're a veteran, former sniper. Tell me a little bit about your background.
So I spent 10 years in the Army, joined in 2015, got down here at Fort Campbell. Spent my first 7 years as a sniper, went to sniper school, Special Forces sniper school.
Nice.
Did a little bit of everything. Ended my time as a drill sergeant and instructor. Kind of moved around a little bit, but it was a great time.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for your service. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. So now you're here at the Glock store.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Just wanted to keep on shooting.
I love it. Well, this is the place to do it.
Sure is.
Now, there's a lot of people that they get nervous, right? And I kind of like point it, it's like kind of like a gym, right? Like if you've never been to the gym, you know you need to get back in shape, but you're like, oh, I'm going to go in there, and there's going to be guys that know what they're doing, and I'm going to look stupid, and then you just avoid it completely. I don't think you should be avoiding firearm training, and I don't think you should be avoiding handling your own personal safety. But you guys do a great job when it comes to new shooters here, people that have no experience. What do you do when somebody walks through the door and they've never handled a firearm? They've never shot a firearm. How do you start them off on that journey?
So, I think a lot of it is just making it a positive interaction. Starting it from the very basics, all about safety, kind of run through all the different parts of the gun. We take pride in seeing people nervous in the beginning. I actually really enjoy it. And then by the end of the session, they're loving it. They take their first few shots, and they're all about it, big smiles. We break it right down. We do get that a lot where people are kind of nervous about it. But we take our time with people. We really slow it down and kind of make it more of a fun atmosphere as long as it's safe.
Well, it's definitely a fun atmosphere. I mean, and you can rent any kind of firearm that has ever been made here.
Yes, sir. We got all brand new Glocks in the case right now. A lot of people come back and try them out, and then, right before they go to buy them.
Okay.
So we got everything.
And you can test the firearms before you buy them. You can rent the Glock and really try it out and see if it's a good fit for you before you buy your first firearm here.
Yes, sir. So we have it's only, I think, about $6. We do like a test pack. A lot of people just do that, and then they go back to the range and try and, test them out a little bit and kind of feel them out and make sure it's the one for them.
So if you've never had a firearm, you never bought a firearm, this is literally the place to start.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with that.
And then on your training, where are you starting in training? How do you when you get somebody into the private shooting room, because it's not a lane range, it's a wide open room, how does the training process start?
Yes, sir. So it's always you have your own private instructor inside the bay. You're not with anyone you don't know outside of meeting the new instructor. But a lot of it's just safety. We break it right down to how everything works, how to keep it unloaded, how to point in the right direction, all that good stuff. I know, like me personally, I just try to have like more of a friendly interaction with them, so it's more positive. They trust me. That's how most of us are, and so break it down from that. Kind of explain how the gun works, and it's going to recoil, it's going to do these different things. But we work on grip. Not only that, we do a lot of demos, so we show them what happens when you do something wrong. And so they see that, and they just apply it to when they pick up the pistol.
Yeah, and then you'll fast forward into a bit more extensive training for people as they get more experience. What does that look like? Because I know you have different scenarios here where you're training individuals to clear rooms in the dark. What does that look like? What's that process?
So the process all really depends on kind of where they're at. We kind of gauge them. If they look pretty comfortable, they look confident, we'll kind of speed it up a little bit. Sometimes we like push them to, I always put it this way to people is I'll get you to driving 100 miles an hour, so driving at 30 feels like nothing.
Yeah.
So we kind of pick them up from there. We try not to go too far into it because we don't want to, shoot that confidence down. So we just kind of bring it to a level to where we feel that they're going to stay confident and they want to come back.
Yeah, well, today's a great day to check out the Glock store. We're going to be broadcasting live until 12 o'clock. And then Saturday, May 31st, is your 5th annual open house. That's going to be another awesome day for the Glock store. And you're going to be able to rent some full autos during the open house. And I've shot the full autos here. It may be the most fun I've ever had.
Oh, yeah, it's a great time.
And then I just start thinking to myself, it's like, geez, fun is illegal. Is that where we're at in this country? So what do you have here? You have what am I looking at? I mean, this thing, if you're watching on the stream, this thing looks pretty nice. That is clean. But what am I looking at?
So this is a B&T APC-9 made in Switzerland. It is a fully automatic 9mm. It's converted to take Glock mags, as you can kind of see down here on the bottom.
Okay.
So we actually put this thing in a shot timer, and it would not catch all 32 rounds, but we dumped the full mag in under 1.1 seconds.
Wow.
We got it mounted with an Aimpoint Acro P2. This is definitely one of the better sellers. We just got this in a few weeks ago. We're about to get another one. It's a fun shooter.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's going on the Christmas list. I can guarantee you that. If the wife is listening, it's a full auto APC 9. I know you can't get the full auto version, as a citizen, but you can rent this at the open house.
Yes, sir, you can. We're actually going to have a full room set up with the full autos. It's not necessarily, from my understanding, going to be just going to rent it out for a full session. I want to say they're charging $35 for a mag, and you're to go in there and dump. We have this, the MP5, the AK. We have it all in there.
Oh, my gosh.
People are going to be running and blasting away. It'll be a good time.
I love it, man. This is one of my favorite spots in all of Nashville, and it's because you guys take this to the next level every single time. This thing is sweet. So how much does an APC 9 like this run?
I'm not my actual dollar amount, I don't know. I know it's somewhere around. You have to take out a mortgage for it, but I'm not too sure. It's something in that area.
I love it. All right, so okay, I'll have to talk the wife into a second mortgage then. It's becoming a larger hill to climb very quickly.
Yes, the fully autos. I want to know. I think the number I kind of heard was somewhere in like the 25,000 range.
Okay,
I'm not 100% positive though. I mean, you can get them in semi-automatic for a little bit cheaper than that.
All right, cool. All right, so if you were to talk to somebody that's never fired a gun before, never owned a firearm, why would the Glock store be the place to start?
I would say, kind of what we already talked about before. We have plenty of rentals. We have even like a 22 in there. We have very experienced instructors. We have 3 that are prior military. We've worked with people from all different countries. We've got the experience. We take our time with you guys. We really kind of just break it down to every little bit. We stress safety. It's all about, just like making a positive interaction. We take our time with everybody. I could go on for days on why I think the Glock store and us instructors would be a good start.
You said something that stuck out to me, that you get people from other countries. And we've been talking about South Africa a lot today because of the interaction between Trump and the South African president in the Oval Office yesterday, and what's happening to the white farmers in South Africa. And I was saying, they would love the Second Amendment rights that we have in this country. And you guys do. You get a lot of out-of-country visitors who come in here, and they're just shocked at the fun that they can have with these firearms. What's it like when somebody from another country comes in and experiences all the glory of the Second Amendment at the Glock store?
I honestly love it. I've had a few days here actually where I don't have a single American. It's all people from other countries. They walk up to the counter, they're looking around, and they're just like, holy cow.
It's like a kid at Toys R Us.
Yeah, they're blown away, and so I always, every single one that comes in, I always talk to them about, like how it is in their country versus here, and they're blown away by the fact that they can walk in Tennessee with a driver's license and walk out with one. I think, honestly, the best part is, kind of like I hit on earlier, they're just like so blown away and excited about it, and they just love it. It's just a great place to be.
And they probably walk out here going, why isn't this allowed in my country?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so we talk all, like, the purposes behind it and, concealed carry and how it works in America, and they're just kind of blown away by it. And so, I mean, it's a cool interaction to hear how it works in their country versus here.
Yeah.
And so, like, I always enjoy talking to those people and kind of, I talk with everybody, but just understanding other countries, too, I think is important as well.
All right, a couple of personal preference questions. What's the best firearm on the market right now for a beginner?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Not only, I get that I work at the Glock store and everything, but I've always shot Glock my entire life. I know if I was a beginner, I would want something that I know that is going to go boom every single time.
Yep.
And I've always had a Glock, and they've always gone boom.
Okay.
The 48 and the Glock 19 are two great starters. That 48 is the same size as a 19, just a single stack. So we always point people at that. The 43X is a great one too, but I would just say really anything Glock is a good way to go.
Okay, what about the wife? I got to talk my wife into getting a firearm. Where do I start her?
So one of my things that I always try to start people on, we actually, as I came out of the range, we were starting someone on that 43X with our GLOCKSTORE C-Cut. That C-Cut does an amazing job at reducing recoil.
Okay.
And it tends to be the best seller and the favorite between the female population and kids as well.
Yeah, and then from there, once you have your firearm, you guys sell a bunch of accessories, including concealed carry. You have concealed carry shirts and underpants and all that. Mm-hmm. What is the advantage to concealed carry with some of the products that you have here at the Glock store?
So concealed carry, I could kind of go on with it. One, I don't want anyone knowing that I have a gun. It just makes you a big target. A lot of it with concealed comes to comfortability. You know, you don't want it printing out the side, your pants and your shirts and everything and showing around. I've never personally worn the Undertech Undercover product that we have, but I know that some people have, and they tend to like them, especially the female population with the leggings.
Yeah.
They like those because, you know, they look great, they look nice, they're comfortable. You know, people can carry their pistol and feel safe and comfortable walking the dogs around the neighborhood, out and about, doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I was actually on the website last night, and I showed the wife. I said, "Check this out." I said, "Would you like some undercover Undertech undercover leggings?" She's like, "Probably. I could probably rock with that."
Yeah, we've got an instructor here named James Perry. We've been trying to get him to put them on and kind of sport them around the range for people to kind of see how they work.
Get a little fancy up here in the Glock store. Exactly. I love it. So we got the big open house that's happening Saturday, May 31st. We're going to be broadcasting out here live until noon. Do you have any availability on your schedule right now? If somebody was to come in and say, "Hey, can I walk in and shoot some guns?" Is that doable for you guys?
Absolutely. I know for me personally, we stay pretty booked up, but I know today is pretty lacking on appointments. So I have one at 11 o'clock, and after that, I'm pretty open, and so there's always an instructor available.
Perfect. So if you want to train with a veteran with sniper experience, you could do that today on your lunch break.
Absolutely.
I love it. And who do they ask for when they get here?
Brandon.
All right, ask for Brandon and get down here to the Glock store. We're going to be broadcasting live till noon, but you can always come to the Glock store and fire a gun and have some fun.
Absolutely.
Hey, Brandon.
Always welcome in.
Hey, I appreciate the time, my man. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you again for your service.
Yeah.
That means a lot. And this thing is just so fun looking.
You want to shoot
Louise. I do. Can we shoot this on the commercial break?
We could.
Okay, how much time do we have in the commercial break? 6 minutes. We got 6 minutes in the commercial break. I'm going to go shoot a full auto APC-9 during the commercial break. For everybody watching on the stream, I'm terribly sorry that you can't enjoy all the fun that I'm going to be able to have here at the Glock store, but you can if you come join us. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. We're broadcasting live today until noon at the one and only Glock store, so come see us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, what are you going to do with the other 5?
The FBI engaged in the raid of a property in Chicago right now. It's related to the killing of 2 young Israeli embassy staffers. And why you might bump into investigators with the National Weather Service today. That's coming up at 10:30 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 1024 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, broadcasting live from the one and only GLOCKSTORE. And I am about to, after we get into the news, I'm going to be going back into one of the private shooting rooms to shoot a fully auto APC-9. I've heard rumors that this firearm is upwards of $18,000. So I have no idea why they're trusting me with
Schnikes.
it. Schnikes is right, Mason.
Yeah.
Schnikes is right.
I was about to say another word that's not radio appropriate.
You can't say that, but I thought it as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you can shoot this firearm as well at the open house Saturday, May 31st. It's going to be available for rent. So you can do $35 and get yourself a fun mag dump, and I'm ready for this. I'm eager. You can hear the popping behind me. The shooting rooms here are active. There are shooting rooms open if you want to come through during your lunch break and get some training in. This is the best place to do it. Now, we've been talking a lot about the Second Amendment. I feel like it flows right into that topic of conversation with the South African president and the visit that happened yesterday inside the Oval Office, because we know what's happening in South Africa. You have white farmers having their land stolen from them, and then they're being brutally attacked and murdered. Donald Trump brought receipts with him to the Oval Office to confront the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. And President Ramaphosa was asked by a reporter, after seeing the video, the 5-minute video that Donald Trump lowered the lights in the Oval Office and made him watch, he's asked, do you denounce that language in the video we saw? Do you denounce that? Now, if you didn't see the video, it's available on my Twitter account, @ChrisHand-on-Air. It's a lot of the same pieces of audio that we've played on the radio station before while highlighting what's happening in South Africa. But he was very directly asked, the president of South Africa, do you denounce the type of language in the video that we saw? This is his response.
So you denounced that type of language in the video that you saw?
Oh, yes. We've always done so. As government, as my own party, we are completely opposed to that. We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation. And those crosses, we have dead white people, dead white farmers, mostly. And you take a look at Australia, they're being inundated, and we're being inundated with people that want to get out. And their farm is valueless. It's valueless. And they just want to get out with their life. And this is a very serious situation.
Yeah, it's a very serious situation, and these farmers do just want to get out with their lives. And Trump is right. It's not a small crowd of individuals. There was a stadium packed, 100,000 plus. And if Donald Trump knows anything, it's that packing stadiums translates into support. We saw that in the last election. So this isn't a fringe movement from a few individuals. This is a national issue in South Africa. Do you denounce it? He says, oh, yes, we're completely opposed to that. That's funny. That's funny because nothing seems to happen to anyone who steals land or murders a white farmer. Nothing at all. And while it might not be the government, it does seem like the government's turning a blind eye to it. So now we're welcoming in Afrikaners, and we've welcomed in 60, and that is too much for the leftist mainstream press to deal with. 20 million from all over the world, not a peep. 60 from South Africa, everybody loses their mind. I feel like the Joker in Batman. Like, nobody has a problem when it's going according to plan, but as soon as we do this, everybody loses their mind. It's insane. But a reporter asks, if the African resettlement issue is resolved, what's the potential for the future-looking relationship for the United States? Like, if we fix all of this, what does the relationship between these two countries look like? And it's an important question because, as you know, South Africa is a member of the BRICS nations. Yeah, they're the S, South Africa. So what happens to the relationship once this is resolved? And Trump looks right at the reporter and says, it's got to be resolved, or it's going to be the end of this country. Listen to this.
It should rise to South African broadcasting if this Afrikaner resettlement issue is resolved. We're going to go into a room after this. You guys are going to talk. If it is resolved, what is the potential for the future-looking relationship?
It's fantastic. It's got to be resolved. It should be resolved. It's a little bit bad when you see a stadium with 100,000 people in it, because that means it's more than just a little movement. It's a pretty big movement in South Africa. So it has to be resolved. It'll be the end of the country if it's not.
But is there potential for the relationship moving forward?
I hope so. That's why
it was very low key, and if you weren't paying attention, you missed it. But Trump looked right at the reporter, and he looked right at the president of South Africa, and he says this needs to be resolved, or it's going to be the end of the country if it's not resolved. Whew. Sounds like a threat. Sounds like peace through strength. Sounds like what we've been asking for and hoping for coming out of the Oval Office. We got a lot more on what's happening between the president of South Africa and the president of the United States yesterday inside the Oval Office, plus the reaction coming from the mainstream media. The word of the day is ambush. That's what everybody has been saying. It's an ambush. Miss me with the hysterics. We'll talk a lot more about this. And just so you know, while we're inside the news, I'm going to be going to one of the private shooting rooms here at the Glock store to fire a fully auto APC-9. This firearm, I've heard through the grapevine from a couple people here, $18,000. I have no idea why they're letting me fire it, but I'm not going to tell them no. So while you listen to the headlines with Joan Jones, I'm going to be firing a fully auto here at the Glock store. You can do it, too, at the open house on Saturday, May 31st for just $35. That's Saturday, May 31st for the 5th annual open house with the Glock store. You definitely don't want to miss it. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 10:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There's a problem this morning on 40 eastbound just before Bellevue. This is in Bellevue. You've got a crash. It blocks off the right shoulder and stop-and-go traffic before that. Apparently, this is a tractor trailer and a car that crashed off the road and into a construction zone. Great place to avoid on 40 eastbound in Bellevue this morning. The FBI is right this moment raiding the Chicago home of the man who admitted that he shot and killed a young couple outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in D.C. last night. Former FBI agent Richard Frankel on what they're looking for.
They're looking for motive. They're looking for why he did this. They're also looking for any connections to anyone else. Is this a lone wolf, a one-off, or is this something of a more far-reaching conspiracy where others are planning to do something similar?
Now, the suspect opened fire at an event for young Jewish diplomats, and the couple who died were staff at the Israeli embassy. They were to be engaged to be married next week. Two teams from the National Weather Service at work in Middle Tennessee today. One crew headed to Rutherford, Marshall, and Bedford counties. The other to Coffee and Warren counties. They'll work to determine if any more tornadoes touch down in those areas during Tuesday's storms. Already, they've determined that 2 tornadoes hit Clarksville and 1 in Cumberland County. The man who confessed that he shot and killed 2 Israeli embassy staffers, we did that story already. We are learning that the multiple people on board a business jet that crashed into a San Diego neighborhood have now died. That plane could hold up to 10 people, but investigators still don't know how many people were on board that plane. Amazingly, nobody on the ground was injured. Stocks right now trading mixed. Dow Jones Industrials down 39, but the Nasdaq is up 81. S&P is falling 3 points. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and if you want to save some money, now is the time to do it with Busy Bee. The TVA rebates have been extended, that's right. So if you've been thinking about getting a new mini-split system, now's the time, man. You can land an $800 rebate on qualifying 17 SEER 2 or higher systems, depending on credit, and you can get up to 12 months with no payments or no interest. Busy Bee is also giving you $50 rebates back on spring and fall AC tune-ups. If you're good at napkin math, you realize that's $100 back a year. The Beehive Club membership is $99 a year. So, yes, they're paying you to become a Beehive Club member. Now, listen up. Also, Busy Bee is hiring. If you want to get into HVAC, you need to talk to Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They want to talk to you. If you got 3 or more years of experience in plumbing or HVAC, service or install, man, they're looking for you. Pay ranges from $30 to $39 an hour, plus healthcare, PTO, federal holidays off, even your birthday. If you're just getting started in the trades, they want to talk to you as well. Bring the whole family. Check these guys out. That's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. Online, busybeehvac.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, broadcasting live from the one and only GLOCKSTORE. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. They got a big open house coming up on Saturday, May 31st, where you're going to be able to rent full auto firearms, $35, and you can shoot the firearm that I just shot, a fully auto APC-9. That gun is unbelievable. Really fun and incredibly fast. I went through a magazine in, 2.5 seconds? It could have been quicker, too. Joined now by the owner of the one and only GLOCKSTORE. Lenny McIll is with me. What's up, Lenny?
It's a beautiful day here, and I want to tell you real quick that I am a Busy Bee member.
You're a Beehive Club member?
I am.
That's what I'm telling you, Lenny. You got to get them rebates on the tune-ups.
No, and really, I heard it on the radio, to be honest.
Did you?
Yeah,
I love it.
Okay,
I love it.
Okay, so you're here, and I appreciate you coming down. Thank you.
Man, we love this place, and thank you for having us here. As always, thank you for inviting us again to the open house that's happening. It's going to be a fun day.
Well, we have a lot of things planned. This is our 5th anniversry here in Tennessee.
Which is unbelievable.
We started in California.
Yeah,
and
this is your 5th liberation anniversary.
We escaped from enemy lines into Tennessee, and it's been great. The people of Tennessee are great. The gun laws are great. It's just been a fantastic experience for us, and so this event is really a culmination of, opening our doors to all the people in Tennessee to come in and see us, and for us to see them. We've got lots of giveaways. We're giving away a lot of stuff. We've had a lot of our vendors, people that we buy and sell their products, donate stuff to us to give away. So we literally, I think, have like 200 or 300 items to give away. So we'll be giving away items all day long.
And then you're going to have great deals.
Yeah, great deals. And now we manufacture here, too. A lot of people don't realize that we're right just over there, just a little bit away. We've got 13 CNC machines, and we manufacture pieces and parts for Glock handguns. We ship them all around the world. We ship about 1,000 packages a day.
Wow.
And right out of this facility. So there's 100 people who work here. It's really a great business. We've been very fortunate, and this is a great building in a great location. We're just 2 miles from the airport.
Yeah, and you guys, you create a lot of jobs for people here in Nashville. You create a lot of fun here for people in Nashville. This is one of my favorite places to be. And fully auto. How is it that we can rent fully autos here? I was under the impression that these are illegal and you're not allowed to own them. But you can rent a fully auto here at the GLOCKSTORE.
Well, we have the license to allow us to have full auto guns here, and so we are allowed to rent them, and they're fun. It's a fun experience. A lot of people can't get them because of the licensing, but it is possible. If you have a good track record and you actually apply and go through all the process, you can own a full auto gun.
And you rent a few of them. So I just shot the APC-9, which is unbelievably fun.
That's a sewing machine, man. That thing is fun. The cyclic rate is amazing, and it is fun, and it's one of those things that where you won't see. We also have a full auto Glock too. I'd like you to shoot that before you leave today.
There's more commercial breaks coming, and I'm happy to jump back into that private shooting room.
Yeah, your fun is only limited by the amount of ammo you can afford, but for you, it's free.
Oh man, you guys are way too kind. So how do you make a fully auto Glock? Is it because I've heard of the Glock switches? But this would be something different, I would imagine.
Well, it's basically the same concept.
Okay.
I mean, it allows the gun to shoot full auto versus single shot. I mean, single, every time you pull the trigger. So it's basically the same concept.
Okay. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. And we actually have a chassis we put it into, so it's a little bit more controllable versus just the true handgun. And that allows you to hold on to it better. So you'll see. It's fun. Hopefully you'll show the videos on your YouTube channel.
I'm going to share all these videos. I'm going to post them on social media here momentarily because we had Dan in the back videoing the whole thing.
But one of the things we should really talk about is the training here. I think, you were mentioning earlier, about the South African thing going on down there. And one of the things that I've always wanted to do from the day I first started in San Diego is to have a facility to train people to use firearms in a safe and efficient manner. I'm not really a hunting guy. I mean, honestly, I've hunted. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I don't oppose it. But I'm more of a self-defense person, and using a handgun in a responsible manner to, protect yourself and your loved ones and your stuff.
Yeah.
So, hopefully you never have to use it.
Well, and I was diving in last night. It's like South Africa, you don't have any gun rights.
Right.
You have to get a license for each firearm you buy. You got to go through all these different channels. And for the white farmers, I don't think that they're getting approved.
Yeah, well, typically around the world, that's the whole thing. I mean, we still are the bastion of freedom here. Things aren't perfect, but this is still the best country in the world for a lot of reasons.
Amen.
And one of them is the fact that you can own a firearm and you have a little bit of autonomy on your self-control, but your self-defense, your personal control of your own environment.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I really want people to understand. Shooting is not hard. It's not like playing golf. Once you learn it, you kind of keep up to your skill level, but it's easy to understand the functionality of the gun because that's really important for safety. You have to understand how to control and operate the controls. And then, the shooting techniques is something you can master really in a short amount of time. And then it really almost stays with you. Kind of like riding a bike. Once you get it, you get it. Now you're always better if you practice, right?
But you guys approach training so differently here. Where did the concept come from for the open shooting rooms as opposed to the lane ranges? Because you're the only place that I know in the country that does it like this. How did you come up with that idea? And I mean, it's a much better way to train.
Well, it was my brilliant idea.
There we go.
Here's what happened. One day I went to a range, and I had a friend in San Diego who owned a gun store. And, we were buddies, and I went down there one day to do some video stuff because I was in the video business.
Yeah.
And some kids had come in, and I say kids, they're 25-year-old, 22-year-old Marines, because San Diego's a Marine Corps base. And they were all having fun, and I just noticed that, the discipline of muzzle control was lacking in the lane range. I'm standing next to these guys, and they're laughing and fun, and nothing bad happened, but they were turning around with their guns in their hands, and it just wasn't very comfortable for me to be in that environment with someone else shooting who I didn't know.
Yeah.
And they were kind of having fun, laughing. I didn't know if they were drinking or what they were doing.
And you're not a fan of being potentially shot.
And so I basically thought to myself, there's got to be a better way to actually train, because then I observed that a woman was a couple lanes down. She was trying to learn, and there's all this noise and stuff like that. Some guy's trying to train her, and he's yelling over the top of all the other people shooting, and so there was really no ability to actually have a comfortable learning environment. So the individual training rooms we have are designed just for that. It's you go in with an instructor. He is based upon your skill level. He will design a program for you to get better.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, is really where are you now? Where do you want to go? Some people want to be competition shooters. Hey, we've got master class shooters here who can take you to that level. Some people just want home defense, and we can do that as well. We can show you how to, manage and store a firearm and then access it and actually be able to deploy it when needed.
Well, and then that's the room that I was just in where it looks like it's set up like almost like a house.
Well, we had the Metro SWAT in here yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, they do training here, and they, have their kind of their new officers going through doing drills and room clearing.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's we had 40 SWAT officers. You just seen they're all kitted up.
Really?
Yeah,
that
had the
cool.
night vision stuff on and all the guns. And they we have cameras and we're watching it, and it's really cool because they go in with 3 guys and they're going through and snaking through the room, and they're accessing and shooting live fire at the target.
And I mean, that's pretty cool too, because it's like that you're training where the pros are training.
Excellent.
You know what I mean? Like you're not some fly-by-night shop. Like the individuals that are in these fields where you need this kind of training look to you guys as the experts.
Well, I've been doing this for about 35 years now.
Yeah.
I don't look that old, but I have. So it's a long time. Certainly I've been around the shooting game for a long time, and we've got a pretty good handle on training and the techniques we do with training to get someone from point A to point B pretty quickly. Like I said, it's not really hard. It's not like golf. Golf, you can have a good shot and then be bad. But, training with a firearm, once you get the fundamentals down and once you actually do it and get over the bang and the smoke and all that stuff, it's fun, and it's very rewarding to be able to deploy a firearm in an efficient manner.
Yeah, and I feel like it's pretty rewarding for your instructors, too, when they watch somebody come in who's nervous, scared, doesn't really know what they're doing, where to hold it. They don't know trigger discipline. And then they walk out of here after one session being like, okay, I can do this.
These guys get a lot of love. They do. People really love them. I mean, we hear great things from our instructors. It's one of those things when someone can show you how to do something and you become successful, you're really appreciative.
Yeah.
And they get tips and they get all kinds of love. Like I said, we get love letters all the time. Oh, he's the greatest instructor ever.
Yeah. Well, I've trained with now 3 instructors, and I feel the same about every instructor. The best instructor I've ever been
with. That's right.
It's like,
no matter who it is, the best. He's the best one ever.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable! But I think it's great, man. You're employing a lot of Nashvillians
and some veterans too. A lot of these guys. Brandon's a vet, and he's got to help you with the machine gun.
That's what I was going to go next. And a lot of veterans. Like, that's really cool that you're able to do this in this city for us.
Yeah, and he gets a lot of love from all the ladies. They like him a lot.
The ladies love Brandon.
He's a handsome guy. Yeah. So, but meanwhile, you're right. We're very proud of that, and we encourage veterans to come down. We're always looking to hire good people. The businesses. Any business owner knows. The business is really based upon the people.
Yep.
We've got a great facility, we've got great machines, but it's really about the people.
Well, and it seems like you picked the right ones because you guys have really built a good culture here.
We have been very fortunate.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, everybody seems to be good. I mean, we're happy and we're growing, and this has been a fantastic environment for us. So we want people to come down for the open house to not only see the facility, but then to take advantage of all the offers. We've got specials on Glocks.
Yep.
We've got 300,000 rounds of ammunition that is going to be available at a special price. So low, I can't even tell you. It's made here in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, Burrow Bullets. That's my fave.
Burrow
Bullets.
Well, again, and it's a local company.
Yep.
So we're one of their biggest, dealers, and they come up and they drop the stuff off, personally. But they're local guys, and it's family owned, and so we try to encourage people to understand that we're trying to do as much for Middle Tennessee as we can.
Yeah, no, it shows, man. You guys have become like a Nashville institution here at the Glock Store. So much so, I don't even know if you know this. You guys are getting mentioned in hip hop songs now by Nashville artists. Did
really?
you know that?
No.
I can't play it on the air because it's not exactly safe for work. But I'll show you. I'll show you after the fact.
The other thing that happens too is somehow we're on some kind of travel log or somewhere over in Europe.
Okay.
So these Europeans are coming in, and we've had groups from England and Italy, these like bachelor groups or whatever. They come to Nashville, and we're one of their stops.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. They come in and they rent the room. They have the machine guns. I mean, some of these guys have never touched a handgun in their life.
Yeah.
And they're actually pretty good.
They're walking out of here going, how do I apply for a visa? Because I need to be here full time.
But because we're close to the airport, and somehow, like I said, we're on one of these travel sites that it's one of the things to do in Nashville.
Yeah.
And we get them from all around the world. So.
Man, I would come here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, absolutely.
Lenny McIll, he's the owner of the Glock Store. The big open house is happening Saturday, May 31st. It's going to be kicking off all day long. Custom Glock giveaways, premium gear giveaways, blowout deals on Glocks and ammo. It's going to be a good time. You guys always have the best speakers. You always involve us, and we're very grateful for the partnership that we have with the Glock Store. It's going to be a good day on Saturday, May 31st.
Excellent. Well, we hopefully that everybody listening can come down. I mean, obviously, we have food trucks here.
Yep.
We've got the stage with speakers, like you said. We've got giveaways. We've got machine gun rentals. We've got a competition that we're going to do, a little speed competition. We're looking for the fastest shooter in Nashville.
Okay.
I mean, it's amazing what you can do when you get practiced up. You can shoot, 6 or 7 targets in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And be accurate.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, but it's actually, kudos to the training that you guys have available here at the Glock Store. Lenny McIll, the one and only Glock Store. We're going to be broadcasting here live until noon. If you got time on your lunch break, you want to come shoot a full auto, now is definitely the time to do it. So come see us. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere at the one and only Glock Store with Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. If you're tired of weird smells, stains, or just plain bad tasting water at your house or office, you got to call Better Water. You think of what they do is like putting a giant Brita filter on your entire home, or they could scale it down for something just underneath your sink, or they could do something for your whole business, and they'll handle everything. I mean, there could be some nasty stuff in your water, the water you're drinking, the water you're bathing your kids in, your grandkids, sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. And you might say, well, I'm on city water, I'm not worried about it, or I have a well, I'm not worried about it. Not so fast. Not so fast. I would call Better Water and have them test your water for free because you could have some of that nasty stuff in there. And if you do, they can fix it with reverse osmosis, water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights. Better Water has you covered no matter how you slice it. They're a local company, too, based out of Smyrna, serving all of Middle Tennessee. You probably tasted their water already at your local favorite coffee shop or maybe at the hospitals around town that you've been at. So stop drinking the junk out of your tap and give Better Water a call today, 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or you can check them out online at betterwater.com. And don't forget, let them know Chris Hand sent you. They'll test your water for free. That's betterwater.com. Thank you, sir.
All right, drivers in Bellevue got a crash on the right shoulder 40 eastbound before exit 196. It's stop and go starting at the Cheatham-Davidson County line. A lot of breaking news right now. We're going to kick it off with a federal judge blocking another move by the Trump administration to revamp the federal government. NOAA's out with its hurricane season prediction. First responders say there are multiple fatalities on board a small private jet that crashed into a neighborhood in Southern California. These stories and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand, and we're broadcasting live from the one and only GLOCKSTORE, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Love those guys. If you want to support the show, support our sponsors. We're going to be out here at the GLOCKSTORE till about noon. I heard in Ken's tease, another activist judge getting in Donald Trump's way. It's not even Trump versus the Democrats at this point. It's just Trump versus rabid leftist judges. It's a tale as old as time. Looking forward to that in the news, Ken. And is it Cyril Ramaphosa or Ramaphosa, brother? And what happened yesterday? I'm hearing rumors of a certain nincompoop in the news. What's up?
Well, Brother Chris, unbeknownst to this said newsman, apparently the H is silent in the last name of the South African president. So it is not Ramaphosa, it is Ramaphosa.
See, where I grew up, that PH is an F, man.
Well, me too. So I was calling him Ramaphosa, and then Brother Chris was having fun with it. He played it over and over again, and about in the middle of the bit, I thought, it's Ramaphosa.
Yep, there we go. It's a rarity when they're going at you and not Mandis on the afternoon show.
But what's interesting is even though I was the nincompoop, I still won.
You still won?
Yay!
Oh, hey, not all heroes wear capes. Ken Weaver's in the newsroom.
Some of them don't wear shirts.
This is true. Listen, I always pronounce things the right way, so I don't know. I don't know how you had that issue. I never have an issue with pronouncing things.
Oh, goodness.
Ever.
No. Of course not, Brother Chris.
Hey, Mason, on the show sheet, skip down to the reaction from the South African president. You'll see where I'm highlighted. Ken, did you know what the word of the day is for the media?
I do not.
Western Lensman put this together on Twitter. The word of the day for the media after the meeting with the South African president and Donald Trump is ambush.
Ambush.
That's the word of the day. Mason, play the clip.
To the dramatic scene in the Oval Office today, the tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Up next, another Oval Office meltdown, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush of South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush today.
Today, Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader.
Zelensky territory, where essentially he was a bit ambushed inside the Oval Office.
Felt like an ambush in there, kind of like the President Zelensky meeting in the Oval Office.
This was an ambush. It was orchestrated.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush.
What started as, to some degree, an ambush.
Well, Katie, I mean, it was an ambush.
Ambush.
Ambushed. Ambush.
An ambush.
Ambushing.
Ambushed inside the Oval Office.
I don't know who's giving the media their talking points, but somebody definitely is. And it wasn't just on the mainstream media, the CBS, the NBC, the ABC, the CNN, the MSNBC. It wasn't just them. It was in print as well. Daily News headline, Trump ambushes South Africa president. Yahoo News, Trump ambushes South African president with video claiming to show white genocide. NPR, can't wait till they lose their funding. Trump ambushes South Africa's president with false claims of white genocide. He showed a video.
Yeah, I don't understand the ambush.
It was an ambush, Ken.
I like how one reporter said it was a bit of an ambush.
It was a bit of an ambush. A bit of a genocide.
Goodness gracious.
It wasn't an ambush at all. He waited for the South African president to deny and deflect responsibility for what's happening in South Africa. And Trump said, "Oh, really? I brought receipts."
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, and even if it is your opposition party, you need to acknowledge I think the president was wanting him to acknowledge what is going on.
Yeah, and we'll bring you more of that interaction between Cyril Ramaphosa? Posa.
There you go.
And Donald Trump when we get back on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Tennessee has just carried out its first execution in more than 5 years. Oscar Smith has been executed by lethal injection for the 1989 murders of his then girlfriend and her 2 teenage sons. Again, this is the first execution in the state in 5 years. A federal judge is blocking the Trump administration effort to dismantle the Federal Department of Education. The Supreme Court is out with a decision on a case about religious charter schools. Devin Dwyer says the justices deadlocked on a decision to establish the first public religious charter school.
4-4 because Justice Amy Coney Barrett, herself a Catholic, recused herself from this case from Oklahoma, in which the Catholic Archdiocese was seeking to put online the nation's first taxpayer-funded religious charter school, explicitly a Catholic school under the Oklahoma Charter Program.
Deadlock means the court has held up the decision of a lower court, which had deemed it unconstitutional. Officials over at the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association predicting an above-average hurricane season. And first responders say there are multiple fatalities on board a small private jet that crash-landed into a dense neighborhood in San Diego today. San Diego Assistant Fire Chief Dan Eddy says, luckily, no major injuries on the ground.
No one was transported out of the housing units. That's where I say we were lucky in that fact that no one from those homes was injured that we've had so far. We had some possible minor injuries, but no one was transported from the scene from any of the housing units.
Officials say that Cessna plane crashed and then skidded down the neighborhood. Here in Tennessee, a woman who was hit by a car while riding her bicycle in Antioch last night has died. The driver of the car kept on going.
Police believe the suspect was driving a red SUV. Now, that description is based on the debris left at the scene. And there is a bike lane there. Right now, we are working to learn from police if the woman was in the bike lane when she was hit by that car.
Metro Nashville Police hoping someone can help identify the driver of that red SUV. Don't be afraid to call the police. That's the message from Laverne's police chief, Christopher Muse.
There are communities in Laverne that are losing trust in law enforcement in this country right now, and it's going to make our job that much more difficult.
Muse making those comments at a town hall last night in Laverne. He admits his officers use techniques to avoid asking about immigration status.
If that does not come up during the course of the investigation, all right, then we actually have no knowledge of somebody's immigration status, and then we're not bound by law.
Yeah, the chief says Laverne Police and Tennessee Highway Patrol will be conducting joint traffic stops, but they will not include ICE. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, broadcasting live from the one and only GLOCKSTORE. So grateful for these guys to have us out here today. It's a lot of fun. I shot a fully auto APC-9. They told me that the firearm is like worth $18,000, and I immediately was like, "Why'd you give this to me?"
That's nuts.
I'm nervous to drop it. But you can actually shoot that yourself. You can rent it for $35. At the open house on Saturday, May 31st. That's why we're here. We're promoting that open house that's coming up. I'm going to be on vacation for the open house, so I'm going to the beach next week. Very excited. So they said, well, come out early, and we'll have you shoot some guns. So I'm like, I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to go take your place.
You're going to be at the open house on
yes,
Saturday,
sir.
May 31st. You have to shoot this APC-9.
Bro,
man.
I'm
you
hoping.
have to do it.
If they put it in my hands, I'm firing.
Oh,
I'm here for it.
They'll do it. I'll drop a note now. I'll be like, hey, Lenny. You got to let Mason shoot that APC-9. It is so fun. I'm gonna be posting a video on my X account here in a moment where all the gun aficionados can make fun of me for not doing it right.
Wrong shoulder, man.
Yeah, here we are. Now it's just poetry the way we're here at the GLOCKSTORE today, and we can appreciate the Second Amendment rights that we have in this country. When yesterday we were talking about a country that doesn't really have any Second Amendment rights whatsoever, and the result of that is white farmers having their land stolen and being brutally attacked and murdered a lot. Now, this conversation was taking place in the White House yesterday. Donald Trump wheeled in a TV with receipts. He brought in a stack of newspaper articles with receipts and presented it to the South African president. And the South African president denied, and he deflected, and he said that's not happening. And Trump kept pushing back. And the South African president actually brought some white South African golfers with him to try to prove that there's no systemic persecution of white South Africans, okay? And it's funny. It was golfer Retief Goosen. And as the South African president's like, no, it's not happening. Look, I brought these guys with me to show that it's not happening. It's like kind of the equivalent of you ever hear like, I'm not racist. I have 3 black friends. It's like it's essentially that's what was happening. So he points to the white South Africans he brought with him and this golfer in particular, Retief Goosen, and he says, no, it's not happening. Even ask these guys. So as he points at the golfer, Retief Goosen, he says, you tell him it's not happening. And he goes, yes, Mr. President. Well, it's actually happening. Listen to this clip. It's wild. He brought him here to say to Trump, it's not happening. And then as soon as Trump asked him, he said, nah, it's happening, sir. Listen to this.
I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane. Yeah. And there is some issues up there. Obviously, my dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer. And yeah, some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it, but it's a constant battle with farms they're trying to burn the farms down to chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end, without farmers, there's no food on the plate. So we need the farmers to produce the food.
Farming, right? He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't even want to do what you're doing, right? They love farming. They don't want to leave. But it's a struggle.
Yeah, and food and fresh water is the most important thing in life. Without those two things, you can't survive.
How is the water there?
The water is great. Obviously, all the water comes out of the borehole, out of ground for us down there. But yeah, it is a battle to get the water out sometimes when all the equipment gets stolen all the time that you're trying to get the water out.
So does your family and your brothers...
Farmer in South Africa is tough. It's a battle. But this individual was brought there to say that there's no systemic persecution of whites in South Africa. And this golfer, Retief Goosen, says, well, my dad's farmer friends have been killed. And there are farms that are constantly being burned. And then you see the atmosphere shift. And the South African president is just kind of like, that's not what you were supposed to say. That's not what you were supposed to say. So then Trump confronts him. And the South African president, Ramaphosa, denies and starts deflecting blame at the atrocities taking place against the Afrikaners. And Trump doesn't hold back. He says, no, you're letting this happen. Listen to this.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No.
Nothing happens to them. Listen, it reminds me a little bit of what we have going on here in America, where the Democrats are like, we don't advocate for violence against political parties, and then you see FBI Director James Comey post a seashell death threat. It's like, no, you guys are silently condoning this, absolutely. And you can say that, it's against policy and we don't allow it, but no, it's happening, and you're doing nothing to stop it. So Trump rightfully confronts him. And then he says to him, you have thousands of people coming to our country and coming to Australia because of what's going on in your country. And you got to fix this, because you have laws on the books that were passed that give your people the right to steal these farms. And the South African president was not ready to be confronted over and over again, fact after fact, by President Trump. Listen to this.
We have hundreds of people, thousands of people trying to come into our country because they feel they're going to be killed and their land is going to be confiscated. And you do have laws that were passed that gives you the right to confiscate land for no payment. You can take away land for no payment.
I want to clarify that, because we have a constitution. Our constitution guarantees and protects the sanctity of tenure of land ownership. And that constitution protects all South Africans with regard to land ownership.
All right, hey, pause it right there. He said the Constitution protects all South Africans in regards to land ownership, but Trump says that's BS, bovine scatology, if you will, because we've seen story after story after story of the farmland being stolen. We've seen story after story after story of the farmers being attacked and brutally murdered, heads being severed. This is not like for the light at heart. This is reality. And the South African president just denies and deflects. And Trump doesn't let him get away with it. Keep going.
The Constitution protects all South Africans with regard to land ownership. However, we do say, because we've got to deal with the past, the government, and as your government also has the right to expropriate land for public use.
And you're doing that.
And we've never really gotten underway with that. And we are going to be doing so.
You're taking people's land away
we have not.
From them. And those people in many cases are being executed.
Yeah.
They're being executed. And they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that.
Yep.
How do you explain that? They're taking people's land away, and in many cases those people are being executed, and in many cases it's not the government that's doing it, it's people that kill them and then take their land, and nothing happens to them. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country. They're also going to Australia in a smaller number. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country, and they're white farmers, and they feel that they're going to die in South Africa. And it's a bad thing. Yeah.
Trump is right. And you know it's bad when you're willing to flee to Australia. Let's just be perfectly honest. Australia is not a country that I would want to flee to. But what we're seeing is President Trump holding the South African president's feet to the fire, not letting up. Not letting him deflect, not letting him deny, saying, no, you're allowing this to happen. And the media classifies it as an ambush, and what I see is a sitting president of the United States doing exactly what I voted for. We need this. Again, you saw earlier in the day he invites the NCAA championship basketball team, the Florida Gators, to the White House. And the kids love Trump. They're excited to be there. They're laughing. They're doing TikTok videos. And then on the other side, you're seeing him again focusing on peace through strength. focusing on transparency, calling the president of South Africa out publicly, saying answer for what's happening there. He didn't want to answer for it. And they had a private meeting, too. Listen, this didn't end the same way as Zelensky's meeting ended, okay? He didn't get kicked out of the White House. He didn't. And in fact, the president, Ramaphosa, said of their private meeting that it was actually pretty good, and that the private meeting they had after the Oval Office sparring really focused around golf, which is interesting. But the South African president was taken by surprise. They were on their back feet. Their team was taken by surprise. You need to watch this whole thing go down. The body language is unbelievable to watch, and I know that there's body language experts out there that are better at it than I am. But just watching these individuals squirm in their seats as Donald Trump continues to call them out with the facts as they are, it was something to be seen. And it's definitely something I voted for. But the private meeting, they said, went good. Revolved around golf. Now, one of the individuals that they've really been focused on is South African politician Julius Malema. And we've played his clips before. He's the individual that was in the packed stadium, 100,000 people screaming, "Kill the farmer, kill the boer, brrr, bah." That's that guy. And we've played his clips a lot. He actually doubled down on everything yesterday, and he said he does want to kill white farmers. Yep. Responding to Trump's claims of genocide, he posted on X saying, "A group of older men meet in Washington to gossip about me. No significant amount of intelligent evidence has been produced about white genocide. We will not agree to compromise our political principles on land expropriation without compensation for political expediency." His party later issued a statement in which it declared, "Kill the boer, kill the farmer, victory is certain." So these individuals are just sick. Let's be perfectly honest. And the media is sick for trying to paint Donald Trump as an evil racist for trying to help these white farmers get out of there. It's just been wild. So the word of the day is ambush. Now, Peter Doocy was talking about this in the direct aftermath of the visit. And he said it's definitely the most awkward Oval Office meeting since Zelensky was here. Listen to Doocy reacting immediately following this meeting.
It's worth pointing out that is definitely the most awkward Oval Office meeting since Zelensky was here. It ended a little bit better because I can see the vehicle. It is not leaving. The South African delegation is not leaving early. They will be sticking around for lunch. But really, when you watch that, it seems like the Trump foreign policy doctrine is a lot like the old slogan for the MTV show The Real World, where people stop being polite and start getting real.
Donald Trump was getting real in the Oval Office, and he now has a history of this. I mean, the Oval Office visits have been lit, I think, to say the least. We saw what happened with Zelensky. I will say this. No knife hands were broken out during the meeting with the South African president. I was looking for him, didn't see him. But we had Zelensky, then we had Mark Carney in, and then we had the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. And I just want to reiterate, this is exactly what I voted for, and the Oval Office visits have been some of my favorites. Play that clip, Mason.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look. If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But
never say never. Never say never. Well, why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, "Kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers," and then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation.
The foreign policy of Donald Trump has been fantastic. We would have never seen anything like this with Biden in the Oval Office. I don't think Biden would even have known the names of these foreign leaders. Yet here we are. Low-key, I think the best out of the Zelensky, Carney, and now the president of South Africa. I think the best Oval Office visit was the Prime Minister of Canada. I think that's a sleeper. I don't know about you. But saying, well, never say never on being the 51st state, I'm here for it. Now, the media is doing their best to paint Donald Trump in a negative light in this situation. And CNN, worldwide leader in news, CNN, they actually said, you know what Donald Trump is lacking in this conversation? Historical context. Yep, when South Africans chant, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, what you're missing is the historical context. Oh, all right. I didn't know I was missing that. I'll let CNN explain to you the historical context that we're clearly not seeing when we get back. It's 11:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. I know you're tired of paying sky-high health insurance costs. I don't even need to ask you. You don't want to pay that much. Well, I'm here to tell you Shane has a new plan on the market that is going to bring your deductible down to just $250. That's right. Not $5,000, not $8,000, only $250. And here's the best part, which is a common misconception in health insurance. You don't have to wait till open enrollment to switch and start saving money. You can call Shane today and save some money on your health insurance. Shane's been doing this for over 20 years. He's going to shop the entire market for you. 75 different companies to shop from. And he's going to find the best fit for your budget and your health needs. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're self-employed or between jobs or just plain old overpaying for coverage. Shane can easily save you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. So stop overpaying for health insurance and call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023, or you can hit covernash.com. I'm a phone call guy personally, 615-465-0023. Affordable quality coverage managed by you, not the government, covernash.com.
All right, drivers, still got that crash in Bellevue. It's off on the right shoulder. It is 40 eastbound before exit 196. It is still stop and go starting at the Cheatham-Davidson County line. Tennessee has carried out its first execution in 5 years, and federal authorities say the D.C. Jewish Museum killer acted alone. These stories and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. My name is Chris Hand. We're live at the GLOCKSTORE, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. We're going to be hanging out till about noon. Definitely worth stopping by on your lunch break and firing some full auto guns. We were talking about what happened in the Oval Office yesterday with the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa. CNN, they're trying to cover for the guy, and they said, listen, there's actually some historical context behind calls to kill the boer and kill the farmer. Oh, okay, CNN, enlighten me.
Larry, has been debate over that song, that anti-apartheid chant, right? And for people who don't have a historical context, it does potentially appear more literal. Talk to us about the debate that has happened inside of South Africa with the recognition of how it appears to people when they hear those words.
It is an inflammatory song, without a doubt. And many in South Africa, even black South Africans, don't think it should be sung in a post-apartheid world, 30 years plus after apartheid. But there are many who grew up under those years of white minority rule who understand the historical context of this song, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, that Julius Malema has made popular again. It sort of fell into disuse. It's not been that commonly sung after the end of apartheid in 1994, but it's brought it back again to reanimate the issue of the majority of land in South Africa still being owned by white farmers.
Guys, we're just reanimating the issue by calling for the death of farmers and the boer. You understand the historical context now?
They don't mean it.
Does that make any sense to you? Hey, guys, listen, we're only calling for the death of farmers to reanimate the issue. You know, I actually liked what Scott Jennings said on CNN. He goes, okay, you know, you guys are telling us it's not genocide. Well, how many more people do we need to let get murdered when we decide, okay, now it's a genocide and we should act? This is Scott Jennings on CNN.
Whether you call it a genocide or not, the facts are white farmers in South Africa have been murdered. A lot of people have tried to cover this up. A lot of people in, I think, media in the United States have tried to cover it up. Obviously, the South African government doesn't want to talk about it, so it was kind of a boss move for Donald Trump to roll that television in there today. And I think even the agriculture minister in the Oval Office confirmed that these people are, in fact, being murdered. So my question is, if it's not a genocide today, how many do we want to let get murdered so that people around here can be satisfied? Okay, now it's a genocide. Let's let a few more. I don't understand. We're talking about 50-something people they were trying to let in, and everybody's losing their mind after we let in 20 million illegal immigrants over the last several years. The president is trying to prevent genocide from happening any further to these people. They are clearly being discriminated against. Some have been murdered. This was an interesting spectacle in the Oval Office today, but it had to happen because I don't think anybody was telling the truth about it.
Amen, Scott Jennings. And again, Donald Trump isn't afraid of things like the truth. The leftist mainstream media is. And I love what he said. Well, okay, if it's not a genocide today, how long should we wait? How many more is okay with you? Scott Jennings is a gem. I do hope that he gets that Senate seat for Mitch McConnell. Now, when we get back after the news with Ken Weaver, we have more details on LaMonica McIver, the Democrat rep who is being charged by the DOJ for raiding that ICE facility. And we have a Democrat locally in Nashville who's been going a bit viral. Looking at you, Afton, Ben. We'll talk about both after the news with Ken Weaver, which starts right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Tennessee's carried out its first execution of a condemned killer in 5 years. Channel 4's Holly Thompson says 73-year-old Oscar Smith died by lethal injection this morning for the 1989 murders of his estranged wife and her 2 teenaged sons from a previous marriage.
The 73-year-old has long maintained his innocence. Now, there have been legal challenges to the state's revised lethal injection protocol, but Governor Bill Lee denied a request to pause those executions. But again,
the Tennessean says 35-year-old Judith Roberts Smith and her sons, 13-year-old Jason Burnett and 16-year-old Chad Burnett, were murdered inside their Nashville home in 1989. One prosecutor saying the boys died as heroes trying to save their mom. Another judge blocking efforts by the Trump administration to revamp the federal government. Devin Dwyer says this time it's dismantling the Department of Education.
Judge saying basically that the Trump administration can't dismantle an agency without an act of Congress. Congress created the agency so that this is yet again another, if temporary, setback for the Trump administration delivered by an individual judge in a district court case. At least for now, slowing down efforts to overhaul the federal government here in Washington.
This judge is U.S. District Judge Myung-Joon, nominated in January 2023 by then President Biden. He was confirmed July 12, 2023. Back to our nation's capital.
Our Jewish community must feel safe. What we saw last night was disgusting.
That's Attorney General Pam Bondi says the suspect in custody after two Israeli embassy staffers, a young couple, shot and killed while leaving an event at the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C.
This person will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Police say the suspect walked into the museum shortly after the shooting, saying "Free Palestine," before he was taken into custody. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
For my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and if you're living in pain, back pain, neck pain, knee pain, nerve pain, you know that you don't have to, right? See, the Wellness Institute of Nashville wants to do all that for you, take the pain away, and they're going to do it without surgery and without drugs. And they're going to target the root cause of your pain. See, these guys specialize in spinal decompression. It's a high-tech therapy that will actually heal your spine and your nerves naturally. Dr. Mitchell's trained all over the globe, and Dr. Ashley, well, is an expert in holistic healing and advanced chiropractic care. So whatever you're dealing with, sciatica, neuropathy, herniated disc, they have real solutions for you. And again, the solutions aren't pills or surgery. Now, for a limited time only, you can get that non-surgical spinal decompression for 47% off. The Big 47 offer is still happening in honor of our 47th president, so don't waste another day living in pain. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville right now, 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. The sooner you call, the sooner you heal. Painisbad.com. It's 11:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. Why would you need that, you might ask? I think you know why. Yeah. BetterWater.com. We love those guys. We love all of our sponsors. We're actually down here live today at Lenny McIll's world-famous GLOCKSTORE. And we're down here today because I'm on vacation next week. So I'm going to the beach, and I'm very excited. I'm going to miss you guys. I will. But I'm also going to miss the open house on Saturday, May 31st. And they said, Chris, we want you to come and hang out and have some fun. You want to come in and do your show live on Thursday? I was like, yep, absolutely. And we have been having fun. But between the commercial breaks, I've been sneaking off and shooting automatic firearms. I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled here. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. They let me shoot a fully auto APC-9, which is an $18,000 firearm.
That's so cool, man.
I don't know why they let. I don't know for a couple things. I don't know why they let me. I don't know, and I don't know why they told me it was that much. Like instantly, I was much more nervous holding the thing.
I think it's so you were careful with it. It's like, hey, by the way, this is about as much as a car. Be careful.
Yeah. Right? Honestly, if you want to see the video of me shooting the fully automatic APC-9, I'm just posting it on my X account at Chris Hand on Air, so you can see the video, and then you can judge me based on how poorly I hold or shoot, because I'm sure that's where it'll go.
But hey, you got to shoot it. That's all that matters.
I don't care. I had fun doing it. But that's up on my Twitter account now, at Chris Hand on Air. If you want to see the APC-9 in action, you can actually shoot that at the open house on May 31st for $35 rental. And then you can just run through a bunch of ammo. I'm not going to tell you how much you're going to spend on ammo with that thing, but you can run through some ammo real fast. So that's uploading now. The video is going to be up momentarily. We have some details emerging when it comes to the offensive lineman for the Tennessee Titans, Representative LaMonica McIver. No, sorry, she's a Democrat congresswoman, not an offensive lineman. It's confusing.
Oh, that shoulder check said otherwise.
I know. She was throwing bows, and she was throwing body checks, and it looked like she was blocking for a running back there. So she was charged with assaulting a law enforcement officer, resisting arrest, and impeding federal officials. Do you want to know what she's facing? 8 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. Here's the thing. Okay, and maybe this is just me. I don't know if I want to send her to prison because I think that you would turn her into a martyr for the Democrat Party.
Oh, for sure.
I think you do a nice little ankle bracelet for 6 months to a year and hit her with the highest fine possible. But I wouldn't want her to become this Democrat hero. And I think if you lock her up, she's going to become the Democrat hero. And maybe I'm in the minority here on not wanting to do that, but I just don't want to give them any ammunition. Fine her, put her on house arrest, do all the things. But it makes me a little nervous if she was to go in for 8 years. You know how it is in America. 8 years isn't that long of a time, and she would emerge a hero. She absolutely would. Tom Homan isn't really impressed with Rep. LaMonica McIver. And he was on MSNBC, I think this was, and he was giving her the business when they were talking about this. Play the clip.
She claimed she was there on oversight. We open facilities of oversight every day across this country. There are, all you have to do is show up to the facility in a professional manner and request a visit. Go through screening and go see it. We are proud of that facility. I want everybody to go look at it. Maybe all the false narrative will stop about how ICE's detention standards are just so terrible. But she shoved an officer, she put hands on her officer. That's unacceptable. These ICE officers, and when you cause a ruckus like that, then that makes that facility unsecure because officers who should be dealing with the prisoners, very serious prisoners, criminals in that facility, they're dealing with the ruckus outside. It makes the facility unsafe. It's unsafe for the officers. It's unsafe for the general public. We take the security of those facilities very seriously. She knows how to do oversight. She go there and request to look at it. Don't barge your way in. And regardless of what happens, you don't put hands and you don't shove an ICE officer who's there to protect the facility and protect the public from the people in that facility.
You think? Amen. Listen, if myself or Mason had done that, we would have been arrested, right? Like, so she needs to face penalties. She has to. She has to. Tom Homan is right. Again, I just worry that you turn her into a martyr for the Democrat Party if you lock her up. I do. Now, Representative Nancy Mace just filed a resolution to expel LaMonica McIver from Congress because she was formally charged with assaulting a law enforcement officer. And I hope this goes through. And if it doesn't, it's because the Republicans are weak and ineffective. They had no problem expelling George Santos when he wasn't found guilty in a court of law. They had no problem. All he had to do was be charged, and the Republicans were like, oh, we got to get rid of that guy. And they were all fine with that. They were all fine with that. So I hope that Republican leadership steps up and expels LaMonica McIver from Congress. I hope Mike Johnson gets behind it, and every Republican should get behind it. Otherwise, they are weak and they are ineffective 100%. 100%. Nancy Mace, doing work. I'm here for it. Filing a resolution to expel LaMonica McIver. Now, LaMonica McIver responded to Nancy Mace after she filed that, and she said, in the South, I think they say, bless her heart. Oh, isn't that nice? That's her response. Bless her heart. Well, I don't think she's going to be acting as tough or singing on CNN if she gets expelled from Congress. I think the largest fine we can throw at her and get her expelled from Congress, that's the move. That's the move. And I hope the Republicans follow through. Lord willing, they do. Now, another Democrat is going viral as well, this time a little bit closer to home. Now, we've played a lot of this video before. Representative Afton Ben. She posted a long video on Instagram, about 15 minutes. And in that 15-minute video, this is from earlier in the month when we had the ICE detention happening in Nashville. She posted a long video on Instagram where she stated that she had been bullying ICE agents in Tennessee Highway Patrol. Now, I know Murphy played the audio, I played the audio. We covered this when it happened, but it's recently started going viral again. Andy Ogles posted it. Libs of TikTok picked it up, and it's really gaining a lot of traction. So in case you forgot what Afton Ben was doing, this is a clip of her, in her own words, bullying and impeding ICE officers in Nashville.
Okay, this is great. We've got our girl squad and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win. Your favorite blonde state rep? Her phone's always at 1%. I think my superlative is most likely to always have her phone at 1%. So,
Could you text that?
No, I'm still here. Okay, so we're waiting for my phone to charge. Let me send this to Emily and the girl. There we go. Okay. Did he let them go? Oh, people.
Us?
Yeah, they think we were arrested.
My
My life cut out. Yeah, well, it's because your girl can't keep her phone charged. So they're probably running our information. Nikki, tell us what's transpired tonight.
So we found the ICE and the THP people. I did not put makeup on because this was my
Okay, then I'll put it back.
No, I mean,
you're
it's
good?
fine.
Okay.
I've already seen it.
Okay.
All right, there. They're kind of explaining what they did. And according to the video clip that posted on Instagram by Representative Bain, in its full, Rep. Bain and her friend, who is identified as Nikki Pope, they followed ICE and Tennessee Highway Patrol in a vehicle to several destinations in the Nashville area. This was on May 9th. Bain is sitting in the passenger seat, and Pope is driving them around. And it's unclear if this occurred at night or during the early morning hours, but Bain posted the caption, Madison ICE Watch, stalled at least 4 ICE vehicles for 20 minutes. This is great. We got our girl squad. We're bullying ICE vehicles and state troopers. So tough. So tough. Afton Bain needs to have a visit from Tom Homan. She does. She is bragging that she is getting in the way, stalling, and impeding ICE and Tennessee Highway Patrol. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's aiding and abetting, as Andy Ogles put it on X. And Andy Ogles also said, let's be clear, Freddie O'Connell is enabling this kind of behavior from Nashville liberals, actively obstructing ICE and law enforcement operations. I think she should have had a visit from Tom Homan and ICE far before we got to this point. Yet here we are. Afton Bain, what an idiot. Why would you post that online? Like, if you're going to go do something dumb like that, why post it on the internet? Yet here we are. She's an idiot. She said, this is great. We got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. They're literally bragging in the video that they're following these vehicles around and stealing parking places from them. Petulant children. Unbelievable. So in the video, they said, so they were leaving. I left too. They pulled into the parking lot. I pulled in behind them. They flipped their lights on to pull us over and accused me of running a red light. This is insane. So aiding and abetting illegal aliens. That's where we're at. The Department of Homeland Security has not publicly commented on Afton Bain's video. The federal agency, as well as Border Czar Tom Homan, has made it clear, though, if you cross that line, you're going to face repercussions. Anyone, if you're an official or you're just a regular citizen, if you interfere with ICE operations, you are subject to arrest and prosecution. And I hope that Afton Bain faces consequences for her action. And I don't think that she'll be as gleeful in the Instagram video she posts in the aftermath of that. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, and I hope that she gets what's coming to her with a visit from ICE and DHS. We need that. People are looking forward to that. In the meantime, we're still live at the one and only world-famous Glock store. I'm going to be broadcasting out here till about noon. Then I'm going to be hanging out with these guys. If you're in the area, come by, say hello. A lot of fun to be had at the Glock store. And if you got a lunch break happening, you want to come in, you want to shoot a fully automatic weapon, they can make it happen for you. And what better way to spend your lunch break? You want to go eat a Big Mac and fill yourself up on all those calories, or you want to come shoot a fully auto APC 9? I feel like the decision there is pretty easy, don't you? I feel like it's a pretty easy choice. Come see us. We're live at the Glock store. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:54, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. We're broadcasting live from the one and only GLOCKSTORE, minutes from the airport. We're at the drive from anywhere. You know all the things. We're down here today because I'm on vacation next week. So I, unfortunately, am going to be missing the 5th annual open house for the GLOCKSTORE. You don't have to be as unlucky as I am. That 5th annual open house happening Saturday, May 31st. It is going to be a blast. Tons of giveaways. We had Lenny McIll, who's the owner of the GLOCKSTORE, on earlier. He said they got over 200 giveaways. Custom Glocks, premium gear, plus a ton of great deals happening during the open house on Saturday, May 31st. We're talking ammo. We're talking handguns. We're talking everything. So you need to be here. Murphy, the entire WTN crew is going to be down there for the open house. Mason, you're going to be there for the open house.
I'm going to be there. It's going to be hype.
It's going to be big hype. So, you want to meet Mason? Of course you do. He's going to be down there at the open house. But it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm bummed that I'm missing it, but you don't have to. Saturday, May 31st for the 5th annual open house. We got a lot of guys walking around the GLOCKSTORE, a lot of veterans in here, a lot of police officers in here, man. Everybody knows that this is the place to shoot. This is the place to train, the one and only GLOCKSTORE. Here's a story I wanted to get to today, and I definitely want to do it before I run out of time. Did you hear about Trump and RFK Jr., what they're doing over at the FDA? Well, they just told Pfizer and Moderna that they need to expand their warning labels on COVID vaccines regarding the risk of heart injury, especially for teen boys and young men. Oh, who could have seen that coming? Did anybody ever talk about this and then get silenced off the internet? No, weird how that happens. CBS has the story too. This is breaking into mainstream culture. The Food and Drug Administration is telling Pfizer and Moderna to expand warning labels on their COVID-19 vaccines. You say vaccine, I say experimental gene therapy, tomato. But they want to warn about the risk of a possible heart injury side effect linked to the mRNA jabs, primarily in teen boys and young men. And they cite the findings from a study published last year and new agency data. Orders to expand the warnings were posted Wednesday by the FDA in letters dated April 17th to Pfizer and BioNTech about their Comirnaty vaccine and Moderna about its Spikevax vaccine. Both vaccines previously carried warning labels about how the risk of heart side effects, which doctors call myocarditis and pericarditis, look to be higher in younger men, generally within the first week after vaccination, while the earlier label specified 18 to 24 years old for Moderna's vaccine and 12 to 17-year-old for Pfizer's. The new warning label will now apply to males aged 16 to 25 for both vaccines. Is it time to pull this thing off the market? I think it is. And I think you have to understand, the Biden administration knew ahead of time that the COVID vaccines increased the risk of heart problems in Americans and downplayed them. And this is now being confirmed once again by a Senate report courtesy of one Ron Johnson. They say U.S. health officials knew about the risks of myocarditis. Those officials downplayed the health concern. U.S. health agencies delayed informing the public about the risk of the adverse event. And I just go back to everything that we saw with the COVID vaccines. Remember Bronny James having heart issues? Okay, can we go back and revisit that and have a conversation about it now? Remember Damar Hamlin for the Buffalo Bills? Can we go back and revisit that and have a conversation about it now? Because at the time when these things happened, you weren't allowed to ask these questions. You'd be shouted down and silenced. Yet they forced this on the American public. They told you got to get it. You got to get this if you want to be able to go to college. You got to get this if you want to be able to go play sports. And they did this for so many young boys. And now years later, oh, by the way, the conspiracy theorists were right. The conspiracy theorists were right. And we were right about U.S. health officials knowing about the risks of myocarditis. We were right when we said that you guys are downplaying this. We were right. Again, the difference between being a conspiracy theorist and being a truth teller is about 6 months. That's all it takes. This story should infuriate you. It infuriates me. It infuriates me, especially when they pushed it as safe and effective. They pushed it on kids, and now we know that the COVID vaccine, the warning labels are being expanded. 16 to 26-year-olds, heart injury, especially teen boys, young men. But now we know, thanks to this Senate report from Ron Johnson, that the U.S. health officials knew, and they downplayed the health concerns. Disgusting. vile. I think people need to be in silver bracelets over this. What about you? I think you tend to agree. We got a lot more on the way. Des Dickerson filling in for Chad Benson today. Looking forward to hearing from Des. He's always great when he fills in. Matt Murphy will be in this afternoon. I'll be back in my regular spot tomorrow in studio, 9 to noon. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.